everybody. It's a pleasure to be back at Most Powerful Women. I've been here 3 times now, and I have made some incredible friendships, partners, and even recruited a few board members, 2 every other counts. So it's really been meaningful to be around all of you. But before I had access to powerful women like yourselves, I was inspired by a very special woman who I have the honor and privilege of introducing to you today. I met Dayle Haddon when I was a 19-year-old model, almost 30 years ago. And we have maintained an incredible friendship throughout the years. She was a mother, a writer, an actor, and a model at the time that I first met her. But over the years, she has evolved into so much more. And I can't say that the impact of meeting someone like her so early on in my own career has shaped my life immensely. As we have both grown up and evolved as women, we have dedicated ourselves to a life of service. When I met Dayle, she was on a spiritual path as well, which really is probably why I connected so strongly to her at the time. The work that she's doing with Women One is tremendous. Dayle has an incredible heart, and whether she's with her 5-year-old granddaughter playing princess, or in the field in South Sudan or Kenya, or here with us at this conference, she is just so present and so ready to learn and eager to share what she has learned and seen around the world. So it is my honor and great privilege to introduce you to the founder and CEO of Women One, Dayle Haddon.
I hope I'm in the right chair here.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay. I just want to say thank you, Christy. What an honor to be introduced to someone I've known since she was 19 years old, and we've seen each other grow. And I'm so impressed with her as a mother, as an activist, her Every Mother Counts, and as a friend. Yeah. So I'm proud and grateful for that introduction, that kind of introduction.
Beautiful. And great yesterday on the panel of building a movement, and we're going to get into that because Dayle, you've done it as well. We should probably start with our connection, which is Sports Illustrated. I'm a reporter for SI. My name is Maggie Gray. I will not be on the cover of the swimsuit issue anytime soon. Dayle
Neither will I.
was on the cover of the swimsuit issue in 1973, and we have a photo of Dayle on the cover. I think you guys are going to be able to see it.
Do you believe it?
Dayle,
I couldn't do it today. I'm sorry.
when you see this photo, what do you think of?
I just think it's another girl. When you've lived as long as I have, I'm a mother and a grandmother, 4 grandchildren, you just look and say, oh, that was nice, that was a nice time. So it's more of somebody else, more than, I'm more connected to what I'm doing today. So it's just a nice connection of another person.
Yeah, we were saying that compared to today, it looks like you're wearing a snowsuit with some of the bikinis that are on the cover. Love SI. They signed my paycheck.
And also, Sports Illustrated at that time, it wasn't as big a deal as it is today. So.
Yeah. I want to get a little bit into your story before we talk about your activism now, and which is basically, you were going along as a supermodel, hundreds of magazine covers, contracts, and then at the age of 38, sadly, your husband passed away. You had a daughter, and modeling is big business. And when you went back to the business, what did you find?
I went back because, you have a burning thing under your butt, which was my daughter, and to take care of my daughter. And the industry said to me, you are so over the hill. You are so finished. You will never work in this industry again. And I went, oh my God, I'm 38. That's so wrong. I'm only at the beginning of who I am. And I had an idea that I could change the perception of aging and what beauty was, have a dialogue about what is beauty. If one is beautiful, one should be beautiful all their life. So I felt I could change the perception of the industry from the inside out. So I started doing that in the early 90s when there was very little representation of a woman over 40. So it was interesting. But I started as a receptionist. I had to get in somewhere, so I started as a receptionist. My job was I'd been a cover girl, and I was answering the phone, making coffee, and washing the dishes. And no one knew what I had done before. So they go Dayle, and I go, yes. And I say, go make the coffee. Okay, cream and sugar. So it was kind of like that. And then suddenly when I was filing, and I learned a lot there. I learned about humility. I learned about what women do all over, the world every day. And I knew I wouldn't stay there, but I wanted to get into an industry and work my way back up again. Because it was like being on a glass ceiling. And it was while I was filing one day, I saw that it was an advertising agency, the Coyote, who they'd used in a TV commercial, was making more money than I was. And at that point I said, I've got to move on. So.
And you did, and that really leads to what you've done with your life since, many, many things. But education became something that was a touchstone for you. How did you get involved now at the very early stages and then up to having your own foundation, which is Women Want?
It started, I came from a family that gave back. So we were very conscious of giving back and bringing people into our home, halfway homes, things like that. So I had that as a background, but I didn't really focus on education in the beginning. I was lucky enough to be a UNICEF ambassador. So I've done that for 10 years, going all over the country. And one of the first countries I lobbied to go to was Darfur, and it was intense. It was a stage 5 security. So it was a highly difficult job, and they wanted to give me a cushy job because they thought I came from the fashion world. And people who know me know I like to roll up my sleeves, get in there, and see it, and bring back the story. And so that was really transformative for me, to see the women there, to see what was going on. The situation, there was maybe 75,000 refugees, women who they would tell me, and I stayed a long time and interviewed them and asked them, what they did. And one woman said, in my village before, I was the wisdom, I was the one everyone went to. Here, I'm just existing. And they would go out and catch firewood because they were only raped, whereas the men were killed. So it was very intense, and to come back into this world and touch base again, but it was really interesting to merge the two worlds. But I did a lot of trips in Africa with UNICEF before I felt able or experienced enough to form my own organization. And it was really in a trip to Angola. I was in a rural clinic in Angola where women had walked all night with babies strapped to their back to get medical services. And one of the doctors pulled me aside when we were touring the clinics and said, could you help us? We are missing 2 microscopes. And I said, oh yeah, sure, I'll go ask UNICEF. And I went to UNICEF and I said, look, they need 2 microscopes. Can you give them 2 microscopes? And UNICEF looked at me and they said, we're really sorry, that's way too small for us. So at that moment I thought, wow, that's not too small for these women that walked all night. And at that moment a light bulb went off and I thought to myself, there is room for a smaller organization that can work with these bigger organizations, that can seize the problem and turn it around. And in doing it, I didn't know how to do a nonprofit. I mean, I had my experiences with UNICEF, but in building it, I learned a lot about that. And it's an incredibly passionate field to be in. So it focused, there are many good things, but education to me is a game changer, and girls' education, and especially secondary education, because that's where you lose a girl. At 12 years old, that girl is either going to be circumcised, an arranged marriage, or pulled back into the family to work, or married off to some older man, and she's going to have a life of poverty probably. So that's why we focus on the teen girls.
Yeah, I want to go back to that, filling in the gaps between this huge organization, UNICEF, and then what you're doing. So how have you been able to do that? The 2 microscopes, but tell us more.
We work very closely with partners on the ground, and we identify a problem. MasterCard has been one of our great sponsors and funders, and they've given us grants to study. We study countries and decide where we want to be. We don't go and just work independently. We find a partner and we decide where we're going to be. We're in 8 countries, so we built a school in Haiti. We've built with LVMH, has been a great company for us too. So we find these companies And any one of you that's out there that wants to work with us, we would love to have this dialogue with you. But we find wonderful companies that want to make a difference for girls, women and girls out there. LVMH, we built a school in Senegal with them. We worked with Let Girls Learn, and the Peace Corps in the Gambia. We did a social impact fund there. And we've worked with, in the Masai Mara, where I went over to help build an all-girls high school, the first one there, and found out that the girls' tuitions weren't taken care of, so that was one of the first projects of Women One. And now we are burrowing in Kenya, in Nanyuki, which is just about 3 hours out of Nairobi, where we're really literally taking girls off the street and pulling them into school and doing wraparound services. We also worked, I had a tour all around Turkey with the Turkish philanthropy funds. And when I was there, I asked to meet with the Syrian refugees. This was a while back. And what we did is we partnered with Duke University and supported fellows in the field. And we created a leadership and media program by giving girls cameras in Zatari camp, which is the second largest refugee camp in the world, 95,000 refugees there. And this was really early on. So we did that, and also in Turkey. And we asked them to film and photograph what they couldn't speak about. And the end result is so powerful. The films, the photographs. These are girls who are educated and deep, and they write poetry. One girl I think she's like 14, and she said, "I'm a bridge between despair and hope." These just deep things that they say. So you really find tremendous passion with these girls. You really find that they want it so badly.
When you say things like female circumcision and being married off, I think we're so lucky in this room that that's a very abstract thing for us here in America. How do you bring that home to an audience and really show, the videos, yes, but just how do you make that applicable and, digestible for an audience that it seems so abstract?
I think part of my job is to go where not everyone wants to go or can go. So I'm able to go. I have the freedom to go. And my strength, I think, is I have to see myself. If I can see myself and see the story and gather the stories, I can bring them back to tell you. And then you don't have to go to Africa. You don't have to get dirty. You don't have to be in danger. You don't have to do those things if you don't want to. Although I would like to take a group to see what we're doing. So we're pulling that together. So really it's to tell the story. And I think we understand what I've found with women everywhere, if they're living in a mud hut or they're in an extreme situation or in a refugee escaping, they still want the same things we want. They want their children to be healthy, they want them to be happy, and they want them to be educated. And they know more than our own children that the education that they are striving for is the doorway that will open up their world. And so I think that's what they fight for and what they're passionate. We had one girl in our program that came to audition, and that's what's so hard. You have to interview these girls, and we maybe only have funds for 40 girls. And then you say, well, what happens to the 41st girl and the 42nd girl? We have to do something for her, But she came with a nail in her foot, limping to do the audition. She wanted it so badly. So in the middle of the interview, she said, we said, what's the matter? Oh, I have a nail in my foot. And we went going, oh my God. And we thought, someone with that kind of passion, she's in, because we know if you give her an opportunity, she's going to go for it. Then that's what we look for.
Dayle, congratulations on all the great work you've done. Women One, fantastic.
Thank you.
Keep doing it.
Thank you so much. May I just say that I think that education is the issue of our time, and educating our girls is the most important issue right now. And, I think all of you in this room are here because you had a great education. And we need to come together and help those girls that don't have the opportunity open it up. We need those pockets of calm to make the world a stable place, especially now. So there's a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
So
fantastic.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dayle.